Hey guys, I don't even know where to start.
So obviously by the name of this video, you guys can already kind of see what we're gonna be talking about. We just wanted to jump on here really quick and just kind of, you know, just clear out everything, just address the situation. We're not necessarily doing it because we feel like we owe anybody an explanation. We're just basically doing just to kind of really clear things up and, just say how it is, because I feel like a lot of people have their own ideas and
Assumptions.
making their own assumptions as to
What's going on?
And why we're not together, why you guys aren't seeing us together, and this and that. So we just wanted to basically make this video, just kind of clear up everything.
A lot of you guys, like he said, you guys made a lot of assumptions and it's gone way too far. Because like he said, we don't owe you guys or anybody an explanation, but we just feel like it's to a point where it's gone like way out of hand, more than it should have. So we just feel like it's right for for us to share what it is that we're going through, and just to let you guys know also that we're also human, just like any of you guys. So this is real life, and we just wanted to put it out there. And I know a lot of you guys do support us, and you guys really truly genuinely want to know how we're doing, like what's going on. So this is also for those of you guys that truly do care. This is for you.
Because I feel like it wasn't really like the people that were making the assumption weren't really people that support us. It was just people who were just kind of like chiming in without really like
knowing who we really are.
Yeah.
And also, you guys, that we're not about drama. Our channel has always been super positive. It's always been like, just no drama at all. So this is the reason why we haven't really done the videos, because we just don't like causing any, negativity, or just, like it's a very private, like our relationship is very private, and whatever goes behind doors, we don't like to put it out there, and just
but obviously you guys saw things change.
It's obvious.
Yeah. It's pretty obvious. I don't post photos of my family more like how I used to, obviously because we're not together, so obviously that doesn't happen.
Almost 2 months that we split up. But it's not because he cheated on me. A lot of you guys were like, it's so mind-blowing to me how a lot of you guys actually like immediately thought that he cheated on me, that he was doing because of his career, because of his job. Like, you guys are thinking, oh, he has another girl, like he cheated on his wife, he's doing like all this negative stuff because of him. And honestly, like it had nothing to do with him, or like him cheating on me. Like it was just so bizarre how you guys took it way out of context. It was it wasn't fair for him, because we never confirmed anything, and I feel like a lot of you guys just attacked him. And the minute you saw, oh, okay, like somebody commented like, oh, I bet he cheated on his wife, because let's be real, a lot of times relationships are like that, like the man cheats on the woman, and or vice versa, whatever it is. But in this case, you guys automatically assume that he cheated on me just because of his career, because he works with influencers, models, whatever. But that was not the case. We've never had that issue. Basically, the reason why we ended up splitting up was because I was going through postpartum. I still am. I have been I just gave birth like almost 10 months ago. So I was fighting postpartum depression, regular depression. So I was in a very, very dark hole. And
And then meanwhile, while she kind of gets herself together, I understand why a lot of people assume that, especially because, like, if we were so good, like, what other reason could there be, right? And So like I'm empathetic. I feel like that's the reason why I never really like exploded on anybody or just went off on anybody, was because I knew the truth. It was just a matter of time for us to just kind of, you know, figure out what we were gonna do, what was gonna happen between us, and just everything. So I just try to stay quiet as much as possible. There was moments where I really wanted to just go off on people and like address it, but I knew it wasn't the way to do it or the time to do it. So yeah, so I mean, it is what it is, but yeah.
Like, you know, like he was saying, I feel like it wasn't, we were both trying to still figure out what was gonna happen. Like, you know, we were trying to get situated, we're trying to figure ourselves out, we were trying to figure, you know, grieve or whatever. Like, we were just not ready to, you know, tell you guys or be like you said, you know, go off on any of you guys. But it's just been crazy, you know, these last 2 months, and I feel like it just happened out of nowhere. Like, it was just so hard. I wasn't feeling, I guess, like, you know how they say, like, you can't love others if you don't love yourself. And for me, like, it was really hard to, I was just in a really dark hole, and I felt empty. I felt like, I know there's probably a lot of you guys out there that you know, have mental illness, or you're fighting depression, postpartum, and you guys know what I'm talking about. But you know, you can have literally everything and you still feel empty. You still feel unfulfilled, like no purpose in life. And I feel like 2021 was probably one of the hardest years for me. And, you know, I actually shared, you know, what I was going through with my mom. Aiden was only 2 months old at the time, and I was going through postpartum depression. My mom got sick, and it really affected me. It was a lot of pressure, and I kind of let my mental state, I put it to the side, you know, because I'm just that type of person that likes to, you know, put others first. And that's what I was doing. I was, you know, trying to take care of my mom. And it was a lot for me. And I feel like because I neglected my mental illness, it just, you know, escalated to a point where I just completely lost myself. I didn't know who I was, what I wanted in life, like my purpose. And I just fell in a really, really dark hole. And like I said, it had nothing to do with him, like nothing, you know, because a lot of you guys might be like, well, you have everything. You have your family, you have your kids, like, you know, everything that you could possibly want. But I could have it all, and it's just because I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't loving myself and wasn't giving the time and taking care of myself mentally. I just felt empty, and it really took a big toll on me, where you know, we both decided that it was best for us to take time off. And you know, I really want to focus on me and just
Sorry to interrupt you. So I feel like one of the things, because I get, again, like, I feel like at the end people are still gonna be like, well, that makes no sense still, right?
Yeah.
And so a little bit of a backstory. About 4 or 5 years ago, like when I started kind of my career and my self-development journey, like we kind of had gone through this like before, to where like Anita didn't feel like she was like worthy of being with me, you know, for her own internal reasons.
And I think it was around the same time. I think Mila was just gonna be 1-2 when this happened.
Yeah, so you know, she didn't want. It's not that she didn't want to be with me. I think she was just kind of like, she felt like she felt like I was outgrowing her, I guess. But, you know, obviously, like, I wanted to be with her, and, you know, I didn't want to be with anybody else. I stuck it out with her, you know, like, during this whole time, like, I was trying to encourage her, support her. Obviously, you guys saw that we did the merch drop, like, you know, I had her, like, do it because I felt like maybe that was a way for her to just kind of, you know, get herself to finding her purpose. And throughout this whole time, like, I've always just been encouraging her and supporting her, and like, but obviously, like, I as much as I can give and contribute, like, I can't save her from herself. And it just got to the breaking point to where she just exploded, and she said things that probably shouldn't have been said, and so that's kind of like where we broke up. And then, so from there, it's just been kind of like one thing after another, you know, like, she realizing that she needed help, and become more, you know, independent, I guess, and figuring out what she truly wants for herself and her life, and finding her purpose, and, you know, whatever she wants to do. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. Again, you know, like, this is her situation, so it's not for me to talk on. I just wanted to give a little bit of a backstory, because if I don't, it's not gonna make sense.
Right.
As to what happened. So yeah.
It's been hard because, you know, obviously, like, going through this, like, all these years, I always thought, like, what I felt was okay, or it was normal, but you know, I mean, right now, like, I'm taking therapy, and it's helping me a lot, but, you know, I really had to fall into a really, really dark hole, in order for me to realize that what I was feeling wasn't normal, what I was thinking wasn't normal. But, you know, I feel like I said, 2021 was probably the worst, just because of everything that happened, and it just all escalated, and it all, like, you know, was like in a big ball for me, and what I thought I wanted for myself wasn't what I thought was what I thought I wanted for myself wasn't, you know, what I truly wanted. So you know, that's how it just happened. Like, it was all bottled up, and, you know, one day I just exploded, and like he said, I said things that I shouldn't have said. But I don't want you guys to feel like to feel bad for me, or, you know, have petty or anything like that, because I don't, you know. I'm doing everything I can to be the person that I know I can be, and I'm taking, like, everything that I can to, you know, just get myself out of this situation. And you know, the last 2 months have been really, really hard, but I feel like I'm at a point right now in my life where I'm starting to feel like, okay, like, I'm okay, you know.
So to just kind of explain a little bit more, because obviously there was other things that, you know, were kind of out of context. Like, even obviously you guys saw that Anita moved out, but you guys don't know that we had already committed to moving out before this even happened. So obviously, like, you know, she followed through, and she ended up moving to this, you know, a journey for the both of us, you know, just because I feel like, in my eyes, I was like, man, like, I was always trying to save her. I was always trying to protect her. I was always trying to give her everything so that she had everything, like, at her feet, you know, literally. And, you know, and at the end of the day, like, I couldn't save her from her own internal battle, you know, so that's kind of what took everything to this situation. And I get it, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people go based on assumptions of, like, based on their own personal experiences and what, you know, they see in guys or whatnot. So I understand why I was getting a lot of heat, you know, like, it's kind of like, I I was kind of falling into like a little like dark moment because I'm like, man, like these people don't even know me. Like, you know, like I've sacrificed so much for my family, and you know, all of a sudden like they started saying that fame got to me, that, you know, I'm this and I'm that, and I'm like, you know, like, I mean,
that you cheated.
that I cheated.
That's where I feel like those were like the top, you know,
Yeah.
that.
And again, like I said, I get it, like, you know, since it was out of nowhere. I mean, even for me, like when all the situation happened, like I was not expecting for her to like pretty much break up with me and like tell me everything that she told me. Like it just came out of nowhere, right? But again, like she said, it was just so, like it had just bottlenecked so much that she just like exploded that day, you know? And I mean, everything happens for a reason. I feel like, you know, even we haven't really like talked that much, and we literally just sat down like a couple of days ago, and we just kind of went over everything and addressed everything. And you know, she's obviously she's making progression, and you know, she's doing her own thing. Obviously, you guys have seen that she shared it on her social media. We're gonna go our separate ways and then see what happens down the road. She's gonna do her own thing. So if you guys, again, because I know how social media is, if you see guys doing her thing, like let her be. Like we're working on each other as individuals, no longer as a relationship. Like I feel like that's okay, and it's not for anybody to feel or think otherwise or attack each one of us for us working on ourselves or doing our thing. Honestly, I feel like, I don't know, it's just a lot that's been kind of going on. Like I feel like this is like the first time that I ever felt like I don't know what to say or how to.
How do you address it?
How do I address it? How do I approach it? It's just, you know, it kind of is what it is. Like, you know, there's really no way to like make it make sense, you know, and it feels so weird even for me, because like I said, like literally just a couple videos back we did a video on like us, you know, our scrapbook and like everything that we had gone through and accomplished, and you know, like it was just blindsiding me, everybody. Like it's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, to be honest. It's just, I don't know, it was just unexpected.
I wanted to also say that, you know, just because this is going on, you know, we still talk about, you know, just the kids. We still have that relationship to where we're cordial, you know, there's like no drama or anything, you know, and we have peace, you know, because obviously the kids are involved, so there's like no drama.
Yeah, and like speaking on that, like if you guys do see like her posting something about like her feeling like the best she's ever felt, stuff like that, it has nothing to do with me. Like,
yeah, I know, because I feel like every time I would post something on my Instagram, like on my stories or a post, like there was, you know, a lot of you guys DMing me, like if I posted I was happy, it was like, okay, you're happy because now you're not with him, so he never made you happy. If I posted that I was sad, it was because, you know, like he made me sad. If I posted that I was, you know, healing, if I like, you know, trying to find myself, like self-love or something, it was because, you know, like I'm trying to prove to him that I'm like, that I wasn't worthy of him. You know, little things, it was just, it's crazy how like, I feel like this, you know, going through this situation really, like it's so crazy, because going through this, it really shows you a lot of things. Like you learn so much about people, and you know, like just so much. Like social media is so crazy how one little thing can be, you know, it gets taken out of context, you know, like for one little thing, and it's just so mind-blowing to me. And I think what really bothered me was the fact that I was getting so many DMs of you guys talking smack about him, and you guys say it so like confident, like if we had addressed it, if we had said that was the case, you know, which it never, like we had not said anything. And, you know, the DMs that I was getting, it was, some of them were like, just, I have no idea how people can be so cruel and like say things like that, you know. It was just like, wow, like we, you know, it's crazy because I feel like, you know, since we started YouTube and our social media, like we've had like nothing but love, and we really connected with a lot of you guys. So, you know, all we knew was like people being supportive and you know, like loving towards us and everything. So when this happened, like a lot of you guys were just, you know, saying like really mean stuff, and I was like, wow, like where's.
I feel like I said, like kind of like how I said earlier, like I don't really think it was like, because there's like I always tell her this, or I would always tell her this, like just because somebody follows you doesn't mean that they follow you for the right reasons. You know, some people just follow you to like see you fail, or like to see you hurt, or you know, whatever the case might be. So I feel like a lot of the people that were just kind of like hidden, when they were hidden and just waiting for like a moment like this, just like, you know, popped out and started saying all these things. But I know that our supporters, like, you know, obviously we've built, you know, some relationships with like some people who have supported us, and you know, they reached out and said like, you know, I know there's a lot of stuff that's being said, you know, just want you guys to know that we're here to support you guys. And like, you know, so for the people that did that, like, you know, huge thank you. Like we really appreciate that. And you know, just another thing to kind of to touch on, you know, and this is just more of like a perspective kind of thing. Like when I work with influencers that are gay, people are like, oh, he's gay, or like, oh, this and that. Like there was some crazy lady that like sent her a DM saying that like she was so sure and so confident that I was internally gay, and I like, what did she say? Like
that you basically used me to
live the perfect social media life and like this and that. She literally wanted Anita to take me to court and like do all these like things, like when, I don't know, it was just so mind blowing to see how people are so toxic and like.
Yeah, and it was, and honestly that message was probably like
the darkest one.
The darkest one, and it was like paragraphs, like
and filled with so much confidence.
So much confidence, you know, like she's like, I know this is what it is, and like I 100% sure know, like I feel your energy through the screen and this and that. And I was like, wow, like it's so mind-blowing to me how there's people out there that, you know, just have the time to write things like that and think things like that, you know. So like I was saying, guys, like I'm sure that, you know, a lot of you guys are probably mind blown at the fact, you know, of like what actually happened, because I'm sure you guys had zero idea that this was the real reason why. And you know, I feel like one of the reasons why I really wanted to do this video was because I feel like a lot of times we make assumptions without knowing the real truth, and you just, you know, put out so much negativity, and you just say things, you know, based on, like he said, your personal experiences or whatever. But you know, I hope that this video really teaches you guys something more than just, you know, like a breakup or whatever, but to really actually be more I guess mindful. Yeah, like don't make assumptions, you know, without really truly knowing. Just have patience, wait till, you know, whenever they're ready to talk about it, like us, you know. Wait and, you know, be respectful, and, you know, whatever it is, the reason. But yeah, like I feel like it's really important that, you know, you guys don't just go out there and start putting out your opinions if you guys aren't, especially if it's not a positive one. You know what I mean? Like I got so many comments, and there were some of you guys who would go in there and, you know, you were like really, like they have not confirmed one thing. So like don't start assuming things. Like some people were like, oh my god, you know, they're divorced, and somebody was like, you know, like nobody has confirmed that, so like don't go out there and start rumors, you know. So like I said, I just hope this really teaches you guys something, and you know, I hope you guys learn that you know, no relationship is perfect. Like I said, we're humans just like all of you guys, you know, and you know, we have our own issues as well. And because I feel like a lot of times we were like, oh, you know, you guys are couple goals and this and that, and
yeah, but we would always say, like, you know, we're not perfect, like, you know, we all go through our own stuff too. But, I mean, another thing that I wanted to add on was like the whole me working with girls thing. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, right? Like, if I work with a gay influencer, people say that I'm gay. If I work with a girl they think is pretty, people think I'm like cheating on Anita and like this and that, right? But I feel like one thing that people don't realize is that at the end of the day, like, this is my career, and with my career is what I provide for my family.
Still providing.
Yeah, like I'm still a provider, like regardless if we're together or not. Like, you know, like
we have 2 kids in common, you guys, like, you know, and he's very responsible. Like, one of the things that, you know, like, and this is what I tell everyone, you know, like, just because things didn't work out between us doesn't mean that, you know, he's a bad person, that he treated me this way, like, and, you know, I'm gonna say it again, like, this really had nothing to do with him. Like, he has been nothing but supportive towards me. Like, he's been loving with me, the kids, like, he has been nothing but amazing to me and the kids. And like I said, you know, this has nothing to do with him. It's more of like an internal thing for myself. And he, no matter how much he tries to make me happy, that was just never gonna happen because I wasn't happy myself, you know. And this is the reason why I need to focus on myself, go on my own and figure out who I am, what I truly want, what makes me happy, my purpose, everything. Because, you know, nobody's gonna save me from my own thoughts, you know. And he even mentioned that to me, you know. And like I said, he's been an amazing father, husband, everything. But it was just never gonna be enough, because for me, I wasn't happy. And if you're not happy, nobody else can make you happy, you know, no matter how much they try. And I feel like that's probably one of the hard things for him, because it's like, for him, it was like, I've done everything, you know, so why wasn't it enough for you? But, you know, when you're in a really dark spot, you don't know who you are, and you're not happy with yourself, no matter what, nobody else can make you happy. You have to save yourself. But, you know, even till right now, you know, he's still being super amazing. You know, he's providing for the kids, for me. He's being super supportive throughout my whole journey, and, you know, I'm forever grateful for that. Because I feel like a lot of times, you know, relationships, whenever there's like a bump, or, you know, they split up, it's like you kind of just like say like fuck everything. You become so petty, and, you know, you kind of use, I guess, the kids, or, you know, whatever it is to your benefit against that person. And, you know, with us, like I said, we've been super cordial, and he's still super amazing. You know, he's supportive. He helps me out so much with the kids. You know, he still shows up, and, you know, whenever I do need him to help me with the kids, and, you know, he's there for the kids, providing for them, and, you know, just spending time with them. And I feel like we're both really trying as much as we can to, you know, be there for the kids, because obviously, like, you know, I mean, Aiden right now, he's still little, he doesn't really understand, but for Mila, she's at an age where, you know, she's gonna be 7 soon, so she's at an age where she knows what's going on. So, you know, it's already, for us, it's hard going through this, but when you have kids, it makes it 10 times harder, you know, because it's not like we can just shut each other out and, you know, be like, whatever. So now it's like a little bit harder because we have kids, we have to put our emotional, I guess, needs or, you know, we have to kind of learn how to balance things out for, you know, for them. So, you know, he's an amazing guy, dad, husband, and, you know, we're both really trying to just make it work for the kids and stuff. Yeah, because, like we said, you know, there was no cheating involved. You know, he's never done anything for me to, like, not trust him. You know, when we were in a relationship, like, you know, he would leave his phone there. Like, he never, you know, gave me that, you know, like a reason for me to be like, okay, he's cheating on me, you know, like he never, you know, he would have, like, give me his phone and, you know, walk away or whatever, but it had, honestly, like, it had nothing to do with that. And it was just so crazy, like, how just people automatically assume that he was cheating on me, and, you know, like, even innocent people were involved, and it's just crazy. You know, I even got DMs of people, like, messaging me so, like, they were just so angry that we hadn't addressed it sooner. Like, you know, it was just like, when the fuck are you gonna do a video? You know, like, we deserve to know. And it's like, no, you don't, you know, like, as much as you guys support us and everything, like, we don't owe you guys an explanation. Like, you know, it's, you guys decide to support us for a reason, and I feel like you shouldn't be expecting anything in return, you know, if you really truly support us like you say you do. But it was crazy how a lot of you guys were just like, when are you gonna tell us, you know, when are you gonna address the issue? Like, and like I said, you know, we didn't feel like we wanted to address it, but it got to the point where it was just way out of hand. Like, it was just too crazy, where I mean, I think we both got hate comments, but it was mainly towards him. And, you know, he made a good point where he would always be like, yeah, they're coming at me because, you know, I'm the one working every day, especially because I'm working with influencers, with models, etc. And you're home with the kids, and, you know, you're the sweet one, you're the humble one. Like, so people just, and what, like 95% or 99% of our followers are females. So, you know, I feel like a lot of times it's like, a lot of you guys can resonate with me. And then if you're a mom, you know, like, you're like, okay, she's at home, she never goes out, you know, she's always, you know, stuck at home, so it must have been him. But, you know, it was never the case. And it just sucks that you guys went after him like that, because, you know, like I said, he doesn't deserve it. And, you know, he was already going through so much dealing with our breakup that he didn't need you guys to go out there and, like, bash him and talk so much shit, you know, like, he was already fighting his own battles, and on top of that, he had to have all that pressure from every single one of you guys out there, like, you know, assuming and calling him all these names and telling him, like, you know, like, oh, he's this, he's that, like, you know, it's just so crazy to me, because one day it was like, you guys were all like, oh, you know, we look up to Jose, like, we wish more, my husband was like Jose, we wish that more men were like Jose. And then, like, it's just like from a switch, like, where you guys were just talking so much shit about him, you know? It's just crazy to me.
We didn't want this to be planned, we just wanted to just kind of talk and, you know, address what needed to be addressed, and just keep going from there.
Yeah, I feel like we both really want to, you know, be in our own healing process, and we want to go in our own journey, but we want to start off, like, clean, if that makes sense, like, without having you guys to be wondering, or, you know, pressuring him or get, like, you know, saying assumptions that are not true. And, you know, another reason, a big reason why I wanted for this video to be out is because, you know, I do plan on vlogging, you know, my journey. And, you know, I know there's a lot of, you know, moms, you know, even if you're a man, you know, because this mental illness is just not discriminate, but, you know, if, I'm sure that there's probably thousands of females or, you know, people going through what I'm going through. So, you know, I really hope that, you know, just just to help any of you guys and know that you're not alone. You know, it's
more common.
It is, and it sucks that it gets mental illness gets overlooked so much. Like, it's people talk about it, but they don't really share, I guess, like
the journey.
The journey, you know. So I really wanted it, this video to be out, and because I do want, some of you guys, if you're going through that, to resonate and connect. And a lot of you guys might not be lucky enough to have the support system that I did. I'm very blessed and lucky to have my friends and my family to help me get through this. So I'm in a lot better mental space now than I was like a few months ago. But I owe that a lot to my family and my friends. And I know a lot of you guys might not have that support system, so I feel like, if my story can just help anybody.
Just kind of piggyback off of what she was saying, like, we're still going to be vlogging and like putting out videos in this channel. There isn't going to be a separate one. We're still co-parenting. Like I said, we're still cordial with one another, especially because of the kids. So, whenever she's out and about doing stuff with the kids, obviously she's going to vlog. Whenever I'm out and about with the kids, I'm going to vlog and stuff like that, and still do, we're still pushing forward. Like, at the end of the day, like, we love to do this. So just wanted to kind of clear that out, like,
yeah,
we're still going to continue putting videos in this channel, whether we're not together. I mean, even if we're not together, we still want to put out videos with the kids and, just kind of keep documenting and all that. Because at the end of the day, as much as, we do have people that support us and stuff like that, this is still we're documenting moments with our kids, for them to be able to look back, when they're older, or when we're no longer here. Like, these are memories that are still going to be shared and, documented and be able to look back on them years from now. So still, nothing's going to change, aside from the fact that you guys are not going to see us, together in the same video. But yeah, I mean, we're still going to keep vlogging, we're still going to keep putting out videos, and I hope you guys can still continue to support us. I know some of the comments were like, oh, it's not the same, this and that, obviously because we hadn't addressed the situation, and there was things being said that weren't true.
So you guys went based off on that?
Based off of that. So I mean, hopefully you guys, again, like I said, you guys continue to support us. At the end of the day, we're still a family, whether Anita and I are together or not. Like, our kids still, we're still connected in that way, and we're still gonna continue being the best parents that we can for them. And so yeah, I think for me, one of the things that I really want to focus on is, like, for me, my whole entity was based on my upbringing, like, coming from a broken home. My dad cheating on my mom going through depression, me going through depression, like, all these things. Like, I've always, losing my brother. I've always felt unworthy of a lot of things, like, and probably even still now, I feel like that's why I work so hard, because I'm like, my whole entity has been based on trying to prove to people that I am a good person, that I am a good father, that I am a good, human being in general. And because of that, I feel like I overextend myself sometimes, and I try to be, I can carry all the pain in the world, knowing that the people that I love, like, don't have to worry about it. And at the end of the day, regardless, like, it won't ever be enough for me. And especially with this situation, like, I had worked so hard to build whatever we had, and then, like, we split up, and it's like, man, I'm back at, like, square one. I have nothing, like, you know what I mean, aside from the things that matter, like my kids and stuff like that. But I don't know, it's been like an up and down roller coaster, and I feel like for me, I just want to work on myself and like really fine tune what I want out of life and who I want to be, and not be so, not overextend myself, to try and take care of everybody around me, and just to prove a point, just to prove that I am a good person, that, that I am a provider, or that I'm this and I'm that. Like, I gotta get rid of that, and just realize that, regardless of what I do, it's never going to be enough. And I have to be okay with that. I have to be okay with not everybody thinking, I'm a great person. Like, there's people that are gonna think the opposite. I don't have to provide for everybody. Like, I don't have to over leverage myself. Like, little things like that, eventually in the long run are gonna keep me where I'm at, and are not gonna allow me to fully become what I'm meant to be. So for me, like, that's why I've been so heavy back into the gym. Just things that I'm already working on, that obviously within time I will be sharing and stuff like that. But just like,
just finding yourself.
Yeah, just finding myself, because like, I mean, like,
I feel like, sorry, but I feel like, in our relationship, like, we both we were both like wanting the same thing, like our end goal, and we were truly losing ourselves, like who we were as people, and because we were fighting so hard to, maintain, yeah, but it's crazy, because if you don't really take care of yourself, and you don't really practice self-love, and do what you truly like, what you really want deep down, that all takes, like an effect.
Yeah. And I feel like right now that you said it, it reminded me of what I wanted to say. Like, I feel like even though I'm happy in my career, and I'm happy where I'm at in life, I feel like everything that I always did was like to protect her and the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everything, like whatever money I would save up, I wouldn't even touch it. Like, I would discipline myself so much to the point where I wouldn't even touch it, just to make sure that whatever they needed, no matter how much it costed, they always had it at their feet. Yeah. And because of that, I neglected myself a lot. I neglected, whether it was in like treating myself to something, yeah, or really going into the gym and like being okay. Because I always have that guilt of like, whenever I would work out or do something that would take time away from my family, I couldn't really be there, because I was so mentally like, you're taking time away from your kids. Like you're not a good dad. You're not a good husband. You're not like this and that. Like, a lot of you guys like are always asking me like, why don't you go to this event, or why don't you do that? Because I battle with like leaving my family, and I battle with like leaving, the people that I love, because again, it takes me back to what my dad did to our family,
Yeah, I feel like a lot of your, childhood trauma really lingers on to who you become as an adult, and it's really crazy, because like, how he was saying, like, for me, it was like I have to be like that perfect mom, because obviously like when we came here, I didn't have my mom. I was only 7 years old. I was Anita's age, and we came here to the United States, and I had to stay with my mom's side of the family, who I've never met ever in my life. And my mom, obviously, she had to work, so she had to leave me, and I wouldn't see her the whole week, and I would only see her the weekends. So that for me was a big trauma, because I felt lonely. And growing up, I was like, what, I have to be there for my kids no matter what. I can't leave them. I have to be there for Mila, to be able to get her ready for school, pick her up, like just be there. And so that for me was like super traumatizing, and I felt like I needed to be that mom,
extreme.
Yeah, to that extreme. And I was setting really bad, unrealistic expectations, to the point where if something wasn't right, or it like, if I couldn't take time away from them, because if I did, I felt like the worst mom ever. I felt like, oh my God, you're a shitty ass mom. Like, you're not with your kids. You're out there working. And I felt a lot of guilt every time I try to do something for myself. Like, and there was so many times where he was like, go out with your friends. He always encouraged me, go do this, go do that. But for me, it was like, I can't, because I have to be that mom for them. I have to be like 24/7 I have to be with them because I was so afraid of them feeling what I felt when my mom was in there. So, I feel like it was both the same things that we were both feeling in a different way, if that makes sense. Like he said, like even when I wanted to buy him things, like he felt guilty. Remember one time I tried buying you some shoes and he felt guilty. He was like, no, like let's use that money for, to go on a trip or to do something as a family. And it was just a lot. Like, and like I said, it all has to do with, self-love and not feeling that guilt.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of us don't ever look internal.
Exactly.
When it comes to like our own situation, whether it's with childhood trauma or something that you experience in your life, maybe the loss of a loved one, stuff like that like really lingers. Like a lot of times you don't realize that instead of overcoming it, you just suppress it to the point where like it's always going to be there, and if you don't address it, one day it's just gonna explode. And
which pretty much happened to me. Like I said, I feel like for so long I felt I think it really, really got to me ever since I became a mom, because obviously, your life changes completely when you become a mom. And especially if you're dealing with postpartum depression. And, I think I've said this in previous video where, I waited so long to have another baby. Mila and Aiden are 6 years apart, but I waited so long because I was always so afraid of, falling back into postpartum depression, and it's like a real thing, and for so long I kind of, like he was saying, like I was suppressing it, thinking like, okay, and I would try to do things and say things to kind of get me out of it. Like I was like, okay, maybe if I say it, maybe if I, like try to ignore it, it's gonna go away. But I was always afraid of being alone. I was always afraid, to be with my own thoughts. And I feel like because of that, because I never wanted to feel pain or whatever it was, like just fighting myself mentally, I suppressed it for so many years, that it came to a point where, like you said, I exploded. I was like, oh my God, like I'm not happy. And like I said, it wasn't because of him, and it's crazy because now I understand, like, I guess, actors and people who have it all. Like you can literally have it all. Like you can have so much money, you can have, the best husband, the best kids, like you can have everything, but if you're just not happy internally, none of that matters. So I had to go through that.
Yeah.
And, I had to learn the hard way.
And I feel like one thing too that I want to add on, like, and this goes to like all the wives, like appreciate your husband, because I feel like one of the things that a lot of guys don't talk about is like that they feel unappreciated. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is like a lot of times as a dad, if you're the head of a household, meaning that you're the provider, you're the one that takes care of all the bills and like all that stuff, like if there's ever a situation that like I don't know how to explain it, but like think about this, right? You drain yourself at work, like you come home to try and be the best that you can. There's certain situations that, like, for example, a situation where like your wife gets mad at you and you're like, why are you mad at me? Like if I'm trying to do everything as best as I can to the best of my ability, and that best of the best of the ability does not mean perfect, but it's based on that person's like capability of doing certain things. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might feel like maybe your husband might not be doing enough for this and that, but you don't know that he's dealing with his own internal struggles of like, oh, I gotta work tomorrow, or I have to, like, this bill is coming up, or this is gonna come up and I have to take care of it. Like, you know what I mean? There's all these factors that dads don't ever talk about, because so again, true. We're men, we have to provide. You have to carry. Yeah, you can't bend. You gotta carry that weight, and just keep going forward. And I feel like a lot of guys, whether they say it or don't, like carry that pressure. And I can say that for me personally, like I can carry a lot of pressure, but that does not mean that that it doesn't affect me, or that it doesn't make me feel like I'm not doing enough. And I feel like that, knowing that you're not doing enough is what really starts to eating up a man. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not like a macho person. I'm not a manly man kind of guy, but like that's something to consider when it comes to like, you know, a husband or a father, because at the end of the day, like money is a big deal when it comes to a relationship, and always having to constantly carry that pressure. I mean, for us, we're fortunate enough that like with my career, like that's something that, I mean, obviously it's always going to be a thing, but I mean, think about like, you know, maybe your husband is not in the best situation possible, and he still has to carry on the same pressure of providing for you, making sure that the kids are good, paying for food, paying for gas, paying for whatever, you name it, you know, it's still pressure. Even though for a woman it's more of an emotional kind of challenge, for a guy it's more of a, it could be more of a financial, more of a mental toll, and they're both equally the same thing. It's just different
in different aspects.
In different aspects of a person.
Exactly.
You know?
And I think he makes a really good point, because I feel like in our relationship, I didn't know that because I wasn't the one, you know, like for me, it was like I'm busy at home with the kids. So it's like I already have that pressure, right? And it's like he's handling the other type of pressure, like, you know, obviously keeping the household, like financially. And I didn't, at the time it was like I didn't realize how much it was on him, you know, but because I feel like he was saying, like I feel like a lot of men kind of feel like, I don't know, obligated, that, you know, it's like, because I know that when we talked, it was...
Well, maybe not obligated, but more of like expected.
And it's like, we can't... Well, and I feel like we were brought up in this generation where it's like, men aren't allowed to cry. Men aren't allowed to show their emotions, you know, because that just... If you say what you feel, it's like, it makes you less of a man.
Well, for me, it's different.
Well, no, I know it's different, like, but I feel like a lot of relationships are like that, though.
Yeah.
You know,
I get what you're saying. So, like, yeah, because for me, like, I know I'm comfortable sharing how I feel. I'm comfortable expressing how, when I'm dealing through things and all that. Because at the end of the day, I know it's going to impact somebody. But she's right. You know, a lot of like, you know, maybe your husband grew up in the previous generation, and maybe his way of like, his upbringing is exactly that. It's that like, again, that pressure and that expectation that he has to be a certain way, and if he can't provide financially or in certain ways, then he doesn't feel like he's man enough or happy enough, and that can, you know, eventually create an issue within your relationship with your partner, because now any little thing that you say or do or think it can just be that last drop that just tips him over, you know? And it's not that he doesn't love you or that he doesn't want to be with you or that, you know, he doesn't, like, he's not, like, attracted to you, I guess, if you will, but it's more of that back of the mind kind of...
Well, like you said, pressure. You know, like, each one is dealing with their own internal battles, but sometimes it's so hard for us to, like, you know, stop and think about what that other person is really going through, you know, especially because you're obviously dealing with your own internal issues. It's like, you know, you kind of feel like, and I feel like this is so common in relationships where you just expect, you know, you're like, well, I assume that, you know, or I expect him to know, like, how does he not know, you know, but, or vice versa, like, how does she not know, like, how does she not, you know, but he said... You
can't have unspoken expectations.
Yeah, like, and, well, I mean, I feel like that was a big thing in our relationship, you know, we both had our own reasons why it wasn't communicated, but, you know, I feel like it's really, really important for, you know, just to have, like, that communication, because I feel like we had good communication when it came to certain things, but when it came to, like,
internal, like in things that had to do with us
internally, exactly, like that wasn't communicated, because, you know, for example, for me, it was like I never spoke to this to anyone, absolutely no one, you know. There were so many things that I battled inside mentally on my own that he wasn't even aware of a lot of things, and for me it was like I don't want to bother people. I don't want to put my problems onto somebody else, or just little things like that. And for him it was whatever his other reasons were, like
I feel for me, like, since I've gone through things in my life, like I've kind of can deal with the pressure and stuff like that a lot better. But then again, like it's
different.
It's not healthy, because I feel like I could be way further in life, and if I just allow myself to be me, and if I just allow myself to like not have to carry everybody on my back, not have to carry the world on my back. So that was one of the things that I realized, like, during this whole situation. And,
like not having guilt.
Yeah, not having guilt for not like I said, like, for one of the things that would affect me the most is knowing that I couldn't help her internally. I could have everything else be picture perfect, and knowing that it wasn't enough for me, that was like a breaking point, because I'm like, man, like I felt that I was never going to be enough for her, and going through this like really just kind of made me feel like that's just not the reality of things, you know what I mean? Like there's no such thing as like perfection. And
even if you tried, like, I mean, you did, like I would always tell him, like, you're as close as to perfect, but like I said, you can literally have everything. Like you can have the most amazing husband, the most amazing kids, the biggest house, like your cars, like everything you've always dreamed of, you can have. But if you're just not happy internally, like nothing's gonna make you happy but yourself, and if you're not happy with yourself, like forget about it, and then that was what was going on with me. Like I was battling so many things, like, with myself, like everything, and I was truly unhappy with myself. I became very, very insecure. I started becoming very like aggressive, and and that honestly, like I want you guys to, if you can take anything from this video, is I know I'm not the only girl, and it's crazy because sometimes it gets taken as into like a funny thing. I feel like a lot of times it's like la toxica. It's like a pride, like, and it shouldn't be like that, because it really can mess with, not just your current relationship, but with everything around you, even
your mental health.
Your mental health, exactly. Like, for me and for him, it was like I, and I have no problem sharing this and, accepting it, because I've learned to accept a lot of my flaws, as opposed to before. I felt like I always kind of knew I had that flaw, but never wanted to accept it. I kind of just was like, oh, whatever, it is what it is. But now it's like, why know that you have a flaw and not work on it? Why not try to be better? If that's something that bothers you, like fix it, and that was one of the things. Like I said, this is the reason why I wanted to make this video, is because I want to share everything that I'm learning along the way, and if I can help some of you guys out, that would mean everything to me. But I feel like for me, it was like he was walking on eggshells all the time because of the way that I am. I take everything as an attack rather than like, okay, like stop, listen, process, and then speak. It was like, for me, it was like I already knew that something negative about me was gonna come. So I was like, okay, like I'm gonna attack him and I'm gonna explode and say all this, which made him not being able to communicate to me, and look where it led to. So if there's something that you can learn from this, is honestly like change your ways. Like I'm not kidding, like change the way you are, because if you really want to be with that person, like you really have to change. I'm not saying you have to change yourself for them, but like for you, like be a better person for you,
Yeah, I feel like right now that you said that, it's true. I feel like a lot of times, like people always tell you like, oh, like if so and so truly loves you, like he's gonna accept you for who you are, or this and that. But at the end of the day,
which it's true, but it's also not like,
it's true, but you can always be in constant improvement.
Exactly.
And I feel like in a lot of relationships, and I kind of feel hypocritical, like not talking about relationships because of our situation now, but like there's certain things that like Your partner can love you for who you are, and like obviously because of that they're in a relationship with you, but you can always be in constant improvement, because if you don't always try to constantly improve yourself, then it's going to be an issue. It's not just going to be an issue for your relationship, but it's going to be an issue with you internally, because eventually you can feel like, man, like I'm never going to find the right person. I'm never going to find the right guy. And it's not necessarily about finding the right guy, because you can have that but not be aware of it because you haven't yet worked on your own things internally that makes you feel triggered over certain patterns that you may see in a guy. For example, let's say like it didn't work out with this guy. Well, now you have the opportunity to go on with somebody else
but
and
you learned.
and learn from that experience to now say like, don't try to compare A and B, like, you know,
Exactly.
it evolves as you go.
Exactly. Well, I mean, like I feel like every experience, it's a learning experience, and with like every relationship, it's a, you know, you learn something new. Like for example, you were in your previous relationship and he cheated on you, you learn not to trust, right? So, you know, it's the same thing, I feel like, with anything, you know, within yourself, within just in general. But, you know, I feel like
your own internal challenges, your own internal dialogue dictates a lot of like your own happiness and your own capacity to be the happiest version of yourself. Because if you don't address it, that issue is never solved, and that issue could be the one that's stopping you from you truly being happy, being in the relationship that you want to be in the career path that you want to be in. Like, you know, eventually like it's gonna come to light, and it might not be in a good way. You know, for us, fortunately, even though it sucked, like obviously I'm hurt, she's hurt, and all that, but it wasn't in a way where like it's like really really bad.
Yeah, like where we can't even stand
Talk
to sue
or
each
even
other,
be there
you know,
together,
because
yeah.
I feel like there was never that, you know, like he cheated on me, or, you know, that we never supported each other. Like I supported him as much as I, you know, to the best of my ability when we were together, and the same thing with him. He supported me to the best of his ability, but you know, it's just one of those moments that we've been talking about, where it's like it's a blessing in disguise, you know, because it's a blessing for me and for him when it comes to like, we learn, like for me, for example, is this time around I learned to never neglect your mental health, you know, and really learn self-love and work on your issues like that. For me this is like the biggest, you know, the biggest take that I can take from this downfall, you know, and really finding yourself. Like it's so crazy because self-love is like, you're like, oh yeah, I love myself, but do you truly love yourself? You know, like you literally have to dig deep down to why it is that you act a certain way, and like, are you really happy with who you are as a person, you know? Because I feel like it's honestly so hard to find someone that truly loves themselves. It's so rare, and the persons that really do love themselves, it's like you can tell, you know, they just you know it. They're so confident, they're just themselves, yeah. And so, you know, a lot of times it's like you mistake kind of like, oh, I feel good, and you know, like I love myself, but you know, do you really? Like it's deeper.
And I feel like for me, like my biggest thing like now is like, again, kind of like how I said, like knowing that I can't save everybody that I love, you know, and it's not my responsibility to do so, because at the end of the day, like,
you took that, I feel like you took that, you know, really, you had to learn a hard way, because obviously like it comes to me, you know, like we've been together for almost 13 years, and it's like you've been trying to save me as much as you could. You know, like he's literally tried like so many times, like he's encouraged me so many times, but like I told him, you know, it's like one of those, you know, those times, like, you know, it's so cliche, because it's like you can tell me you want this for me, and you know, you see me doing this and that I should do this, but I was never at that point, because I wasn't going through it, you know, and you really have to go through it to really like, right? Like you have to fall, and you really have to go through it in order for you to, like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah,
that makes sense.
One of the things that like that she told me, like when she exploded, was that she wasn't where she wanted to be because of me.
Yeah.
And for me, that broke me because I'm like, how is that even possible, you know? And again, I'm not the type of person to like not take responsibility, even though certain things might not be my fault, but like I always try to analyze like where did I do wrong? Like where did I like not see things, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like how she said, like I did everything in my power. Like I gave her opportunities, I gave her ideas, I gave her support. Everything she wanted to launch something, I was always there for her, supporting her, encouraging.
And I think at the time when I said that, you know, and I've told him this, you know, and I apologize for that because I feel like at the time I wasn't like I was aware of so many things that like a lot of my flaws. Like I knew a lot of things were toxic about me, but I never really like accepted them. And so a lot of things, like for me, for example, I blamed everything that I couldn't do or wanted to do, I blamed it on everybody else but me. Like everything was blamed either, you know, on him, oh, I can't do it because of this. Like I found so many excuses to, you know, to kind of like give me that, how do you say it?
Comfort.
That comfort. So, you know, a lot of, like for me, it's so hard for me to accept accountability.
To just hold yourself accountable.
Yeah, it's so hard for me to hold myself accountable. So when the situation happened, you know, I told him like, you know what, like I'm not happy because of you. And it was really wrong for me to say because honestly, like he's done everything. Like he said, you know, he had to stop and self-discipline himself to not buy himself things so that I can have it at my fingertips, you know, but I never went and did anything, but it was because of me. Like, and I have my own issues of why I never did. It was because, you know, I was fighting depression. I was fighting my own demons in my head. And, you know, I just never took responsibility. And a lot of things I blamed it on him. It was just like, you know, it's because of you, you know, and I get it, you know, it really hurt him. And like I told him, I don't blame you for, you know, whatever it is that you feel towards me because I said things that I shouldn't have. And like I told you guys, you know, I had to learn all this the hard way. Like I really hit rock bottom and there's like a lot of things that I wish I could go back and change, but you know, obviously I can't, so the best thing that I can do is move forward and learn from that mistake and, you know, try to be better because I think for so long I kept dwelling on a lot of my mistakes that it was really holding me from moving on. And it was because I was holding on to that regret. It was kind of making me feel even worse. I was sunking myself even more. My self-esteem was getting worse and worse. And, you know, I had to learn to like own up to, you know, my mistakes. It's like, yeah, I fucked up and these are the consequences, you know, and I really feel like that's truly how you learn. You really have to, you know, hit floor in order for you to really learn. You know, but like I said, I don't want none of you guys to feel petty for me or anything, or, you know, it is what it is. Like, I'm a grown person, and, you know, one of the things that he told me, because I feel like when all of this was happening, I had so much resentment and anger towards him because I'm so used to being saved by him for everything. And I depended so much on him that when this happened, you know, he made a big point to me where he said, you know, I can't save you. You're so mad because I've been saving you for so many years for everything, and right now I can't save you from your own thoughts and emotions, and that's something that you have to go on your own. You know, you have to do it. And at the moment I didn't understand. For me, it was more of like a resentment and anger towards him. But, you know, going to therapies and all of that really helped me to understand, like, it's true. Nobody
is going to save you. No one can save you from your own thoughts and emotions. Like, you have to feel every emotion, and you have to face it and tackle it, and that's truly the only way you're going to be able to grow and learn. And you just, it sucks. It really sucks that we're here. But, it's already done, and I can't live in regret. I have to keep pushing forward and work on myself and be the best version that I can for myself. And, and if, so it's just a learning experience.
We're still going to continue to be respectful towards one another, and obviously we've shared literally almost half of our life together, and it is what it is. We're just going to continue growing individually, doing our own thing.
I think at this point we're just, kind of finding ourselves and really focusing on ourselves and truly finding what we really want out of life and finding our purpose. And, more than anything is like truly being happy with our own selves. I want to be a better me. I want to be the happiest I can be, and I really have to go on my own to be able to find that. And same with him, he needs to find his own happiness, what makes him happy, what makes him the best version of himself. Like, I feel like we both deserve that, to just truly, truly be happy with just ourselves individually.
Yeah, I think for me personally, it's not so much of like a happiness thing. It's more of like, I don't need to save everybody,
Yeah.
I don't need to prove to everybody that I am a good person, that I am,
just be happy with yourself.
Like, exactly, like, I don't have to overextend myself, and that's something that I have to learn and be okay with, like, not being able to, again, save everybody. It's not my responsibility. Like, I need to, save myself first. And then,
And I feel like that's probably one of our biggest issues, is because we're both givers and we thrive on seeing other people happy, that we kind of overextend ourselves and we neglect ourselves in order for that to happen, and we had to learn the hard way, like both of us did. I feel like we're both victims in this situation. Like, it sucks that, we had to go through this, but it's like, I feel, I always tell him, I feel like God does things for a reason, and he always has a purpose. And, like, at the beginning, I didn't understand why everything was happening. It was just kind of like, it was so confusing. But now everything makes sense, because I'm like, I always felt, when I felt my lowest, I always felt like it was never ending. I always felt like it was just I was always gonna be like that. I thought I'm never gonna be happy, and I felt so helpless, and always wondered, like, am I ever gonna be happy? And like I said, this has nothing to do with him. It had to do, me internally being happy. I always thought I'm never gonna find, like, my purpose, like that fulfillment, or like, when is it gonna be my breaking point, or like my breakthrough. And I kept wondering, and now it all makes sense. I'm like, wow, like, it really had to happen, and it sucks that it happened this way, but like I said, it's a blessing in disguise, because now it's like, it's my turn to find myself and learn to love myself. And I learned a lot, and it's crazy, because in these 2 months I've learned so much more than my whole life. Like, just 2 months I've learned so much about me, about people, and about life, and I'm grateful for it. It sucks and it's painful, but at the same time, I'm embracing it. And I'm learning. It's a really learning experience. And sometimes you just wonder, like, you sometimes wonder, like, how am I gonna get through it? But you just take it day by day, and it's just crazy how life works.
Yeah. So, well, feel like this video is already pretty long. So again, kind of how she was saying earlier, like she will be sharing her journey. So you know, you will be seeing videos of her, you know, maybe speaking about it or just
bring you guys
along through her process and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully this clears up everything. Again, you know, we don't just want to shine light on the negative stuff or the backlash or whatever you want to call it that we received. Like, you know, at the same time, there was people that, you know, were there for us, supported us, people that we probably would have never expected that would have been there for us, were there for us, and for those people we're thankful. And, you know, just wanted to tell you guys again, thank you so much for all the love and support. This does not change anything. We're still going to continue to, you know, put out content, you know, create memories with our kids and you guys together. But yeah, thank you guys so much for everything. And do you have anything else you want to say?
No, I just, you know, I agree with everything he was saying. You know, I'm super grateful, and you know, I think you know, YouTube has been like something we really love and enjoy doing. So you know, we want to keep doing that, and we want to share with you guys our journey, and we really do hope you guys keep supporting us. And you know, for those of you guys that, you know, are really true supporters, we want to thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts. Like it honestly does not go unnoticed, and you know, there is a lot of love. Like aside from the negativity, there was a lot of love, and I feel like we both felt it. And you know, we were super grateful, super thankful, and you know, we hope that this helps you guys in any way, and we hope, you know, because I feel like our channel has always been about being true, being raw, and connecting with you guys more than anything. So, you know, I hope that you guys can really connect with us, and you know, we hope that we can help
just leave
you
an
guys
impact.
Make an
like,
impact.
At the end of the day, like that's all we've ever wanted, you know. And but yeah.
Yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah. Thank you guys. See you
Thank you
guys
guys
in the
for
next video.
watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.